They told you to push harder, to wake up earlier, to plan every hour of your day, to control every impulse, to force yourself into success. They said if you fail, because you're lazy, because you didn't want it bad enough, because you lacked willpower. But what if they were wrong? What if discipline isn't about how hard you push, but about how deeply you understand yourself? In today's world, hustle is a badge of honor. We glorify burnout. We equate self-worth with productivity, and we call rest laziness. But Carl Jung saw things differently. He didn't see laziness. He saw misalignment. He didn't see weakness. He saw a divided self. Jung believed that the psyche is not a machine. It's a landscape. It's full of parts, voices, symbols, desires, memories, dreams. You can't dominate this inner world with sheer effort. Not for long. Because what you suppress eventually returns. Louder, angrier, stronger. Let's say you force yourself into a rigid routine. No sugar, no rest, no distractions. You white-knuckle your way into control. And for a while, it works. You feel powerful. You feel in charge. But then, you break the rules. You binge. You crash. You spiral. You say, I failed. But here's the truth. You didn't fail. Your system rebelled. Why? Because a part of you never agreed to those rules. Because your unconscious was never invited. Because your wounds were never seen, only silenced. Jung called this repression. And he warned, what we repress doesn't disappear. It hides. It festers. It grows teeth. That's why modern discipline feels like punishment. Because it often is punishment. We punish ourselves for not being perfect, for feeling tired, for being human. We think willpower is strength. But strength without understanding becomes violence. Self-violence. Let's look at a real-life example. Maria is 28. She wakes up at 5 a.m. She journals. She drinks celery juice. She works out. She checks every box. But inside, she's exhausted. She's anxious. She's emotionally numb. What? Because her discipline is rooted in fear. Fear of failure. Fear of worthlessness. Fear of disappointing others. She doesn't listen to herself. She drives herself. Every time she rests, guilt follows. Every time she slows down, shame creeps in. This is not discipline. This is trauma coping in disguise. Here's the paradox. The more she pushes, the more disconnected she becomes. And that disconnection? That's what Jung warned us about. He believed that true change comes from integration, not domination, not suppression, but relationship with the whole self. In Jungian terms, Maria's ego is trying to control her life without listening to her shadow, her inner child, her emotional body, her soul. Eventually, the unconscious will rebel in the form of burnout, self-sabotage, anxiety, or illness. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That quote. It explains why so many disciplined people still feel lost, still crash, still ask, why can't I keep it up? Because discipline without integration creates war inside, and no one wins that war. What we need is not more control, but more connection. What if discipline came from love, not fear? What if structure supported your soul, not suppressed it? What if habits were rooted in your values, not your shame? The shift is not easy. It requires letting go of hustle myths. It requires unlearning self-hatred. It requires listening deeply to the parts of you you've ignored, to the feelings you've buried, to the needs you've denied. This is not weakness. This is real strength. This is maturity. This is wholeness. So the next time you struggle with discipline, pause. Ask not, what's wrong with me? But what am I ignoring? What part of me needs attention, not punishment? Because the myth of pure willpower is just that, a myth, and your path to real growth starts with understanding, not force. This is what Jung meant when he said transformation is not about making yourself better. It's about becoming who you already are. Whole, human, ill. Discipline is often praised as the path to success, but discipline without integration is a trap. It becomes repression. When you force yourself to act against your true feelings, you create inner conflict. Imagine pushing yourself to work all day, ignoring hunger, ignoring exhaustion, ignoring sadness. You tell yourself, I have to be strong. I must not fail. I cannot show weakness. But deep inside, something is breaking, because you're ignoring parts of yourself, parts that need care. Jung taught that the psyche is made of many parts. The ego, the conscious you, the shadow, the parts you hide or deny, the anima or animus, your inner feminine or masculine, and the self, your whole being. When you push discipline without including these parts, you create tension. Your shadow pushes back. Your emotions rise up in unexpected ways. You might feel anxious, or restless, or numb, or angry for no reason. These are signs of repression. You are repressing parts of your inner world. You are trying to control feelings that need to be felt. Think of repression like a dam holding back a river. It works for a while, but the water behind it builds pressure. Eventually the dam breaks. That is why so many people crash after intense periods of discipline. They work hard. They restrict themselves. They push through. And then burnout hits. They lose motivation. They feel overwhelmed. They question their worth. This cycle is common. It is a warning sign. Your psyche is trying to tell you something. Let's look at an example. James has been trying to be the perfect employee. He wakes up early. He never takes breaks. He hides his feelings at work. He's proud of his discipline. But inside he feels empty. He's restless. He's lonely. He's exhausted. James is repressing his emotional needs. He hasn't integrated his shadow, the parts that feel vulnerable and tired. Jung said repression causes inner conflict. This conflict shows up as anxiety, self-doubt, and mood swings. When you try to discipline yourself without understanding these inner parts, you create a war inside. The conscious mind tries to control. The unconscious pushes back. No wonder discipline feels so hard, because you are fighting yourself. But there is another way. Integration means inviting your whole self to the table. It means listening to your emotions. It means honoring your needs. It means accepting your shadow, your fears, your doubts. Discipline guided by integration looks very different. It is not harsh or punitive. It is kind. It is compassionate. It is patient. Instead of ignoring your fatigue, you rest. Instead of denying your sadness, you explore it. Instead of pushing through anxiety, you slow down. This approach helps you build sustainable habits. Habits that support your growth, not habits that drain you. Jung taught that the unconscious is a source of wisdom. When you integrate it, you gain access to your true strength. You stop fighting yourself. You stop burning out. You start moving with flow. Repression blocks this flow. Integration opens it. Think about your own life. Where are you repressing parts of yourself? What feelings do you ignore? What needs do you deny? These questions are not easy, but they are necessary, because you cannot create true discipline without true self-awareness. Discipline is not about control. It is about relationship. The relationship with yourself. If you want lasting change, you must build this relationship. You must learn to honor all parts of yourself. This takes courage, because your shadow can be scary. It shows you parts of yourself you don't like, but it also holds your power. When you embrace your whole self, you become whole. This is the core of Jungian psychology. Real transformation is integration. So next time you feel stuck in your discipline journey, pause. Check in with yourself. Are you repressing or integrating? Are you controlling or connecting? Your answer will guide your next step. Remember, discipline without integration is repression, and repression only leads to suffering. Integration leads to healing, and healing is the foundation of true discipline. Discipline often feels like a battle between what you want and what you feel, between your conscious goals and unconscious resistance. But what if these two parts don't have to fight? What if your will and your unconscious could work together? Carl Jung believed that real change happens when the conscious mind harmonizes with the unconscious, not by overpowering it, but by listening to it. Your unconscious holds deep wisdom. It stores memories, emotions, and patterns, some helpful, some harmful. When your conscious will ignores this inner world, tension builds. You try to push through obstacles blindly. But when you invite your unconscious into the process, things change. You become more aware, more grounded, more effective. The first step is awareness. Notice your resistance without judgment. Maybe you want to wake up early every day, but every morning you hit snooze. You feel frustrated. Instead of forcing yourself, ask, what is my unconscious trying to tell me? Is my body tired? Is my mind anxious? By listening to these signals, you gain insight. Next, dialogue with yourself. Jung used active imagination to converse with unconscious parts. You can do this too. Write a letter to your resistance. Ask why it shows up. Maybe your unconscious fears failure, or fears losing comfort, or fears not being good enough. When you understand the why, you can respond kindly. Instead of punishing yourself for slipping up, you offer compassion. This reduces inner conflict. It builds trust between your conscious will and unconscious self. Another key is to work with your dreams. Dreams reveal unconscious messages. Keep a dream journal. Reflect on recurring themes or emotions. Your dreams may highlight shadow aspects needing integration. For example, if you dream of being chased, it may represent avoidance. If you dream of falling, it may signal loss of control. Paying attention to dreams deepens your self-awareness. You can then adjust your discipline goals accordingly. Maybe you need more rest, or more creative expression, or more boundaries. This makes discipline sustainable. Next, create rituals that honor both parts of yourself. Rituals bring structure and meaning. They connect conscious action with unconscious symbolism. For example, morning meditation may quiet the mind. Evening journaling may release emotional tension. Rituals bridge willpower and intuition. Finally, practice patience. Integration takes time. Your unconscious will not surrender instantly. You will face setbacks. Old patterns will resurface. But with kindness and persistence, harmony grows. This is not weakness. It is strength, a strength rooted in wholeness. When your will and unconscious align, discipline transforms. It becomes joyful. It becomes creative. It becomes part of your authentic self. You stop fighting yourself. You start flowing with your true nature. This is the path Jung invites us to walk. It is the path of individuation, becoming who you really are. So today, take a step back. Listen inward. Invite your unconscious to speak. Together, create a new way forward. Discipline is no longer a battle. It is a dance between your conscious choice and your inner wisdom. And in this dance, you find freedom. Every person carries inner masculine and feminine energies. Jung called these the animus and anima. They influence how you see yourself and others. Your inner feminine is the source of intuition, emotion, and connection. Your inner masculine represents logic, action, and boundaries. Both energies exist in everyone regardless of gender. Balancing them is key to healthy relationships. If one side dominates, problems arise. For example, too much unbalanced masculine energy can create rigidity. You might become controlling or distant. Too much unbalanced feminine energy can cause passivity or codependency. You might lose your boundaries. Most people unconsciously project their inner anima or animus onto partners. They seek in others what is missing within themselves. This creates a cycle. You attract the same type of person repeatedly because your unconscious is trying to integrate what you lack. For example, if your inner masculine is underdeveloped, you might attract controlling partners. You might feel powerless or overwhelmed. If your inner feminine is underdeveloped, you might attract distant partners. You might feel lonely or unheard. Recognizing this pattern is the first step. Ask yourself, what qualities do I seek in partners? Do they reflect my own inner conflicts? This awareness can break unhealthy cycles. Next, work on integrating your inner masculine and feminine. For example, if you struggle to set boundaries, practice saying no. If you struggle to express emotions, practice vulnerability. Integration brings wholeness. It allows you to relate from a place of authenticity. Instead of needing others to complete you, you bring your full self. This changes the dynamics of attraction. You no longer settle for toxic patterns. You attract partners who reflect your balanced self. This requires courage, because integrating shadow aspects can be uncomfortable. You may face parts of yourself you have ignored, but this work deepens your self-love. It strengthens your relationships. Remember, attraction is a mirror. What you see in others reflects your inner world. By healing inside, you heal your relationships. Jung said this process is essential to individuation. You become whole by embracing all parts of yourself. When you do, your relationships transform. They become sources of growth, not pain. So start today. Explore your inner masculine and feminine. Notice what you project. Begin the journey of integration. Your love life will thank you, and so will you. Feeling unmotivated is not the same as being lazy. It is often a signal from your deeper self, a sign that something inside you is out of balance. Carl Jung called this experience a spiritual crisis. It is a moment when your soul feels lost or disconnected, when life loses its meaning and direction. Many people today feel this way. Despite having material comforts, career success, or social approval, they feel empty inside. This emptiness is painful and confusing. You may find yourself procrastinating, avoiding decisions, wondering why you can't seem to care about things that once excited you. This is not weakness. It is a profound inner alarm. Your psyche is telling you that something needs to change. The modern world can contribute to this crisis. Fast-paced life, social comparison, endless distractions, pressure to perform. All these can disconnect you from your true self. When you lose connection to meaning, motivation fades. You might feel stuck in a loop of anxiety and exhaustion. You ask yourself, why bother? But this question opens the door to deeper reflection. Jung believed that the root of many mental health problems is a lack of meaning. When your conscious mind is disconnected from your unconscious, your soul suffers. This creates inner conflict and neurosis. But the spiritual crisis is also an opportunity, a chance to rediscover who you really are, to begin what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your authentic self. The first step is to stop fighting your feelings. Accept that feeling lost or unmotivated is part of your journey. Do not judge yourself harshly. This acceptance opens space for healing. Ask yourself honest questions. What parts of my life feel empty? What values have I lost touch with? You might discover that you have been living according to others' expectations. trying to fit into a mold that does not suit you. This disconnection creates tension. Your soul resists. The spiritual crisis asks you to realign your life, to find purpose that feels deeply meaningful. Pay attention to your dreams. Jung believed dreams communicate messages from the unconscious. Keep a dream journal. Write down images, feelings, and symbols. Look for themes or repeated messages. Dreams may reveal hidden desires or fears. They may point to areas where you have denied parts of yourself. This process requires courage, because facing your shadow is uncomfortable. Your shadow holds the parts you reject, your fears, insecurities, and wounds. But integrating your shadow is essential. It releases blocked energy. It restores wholeness. As you heal your inner self, motivation returns naturally. You no longer rely on external rewards or approval. Your actions flow from a place of alignment. Discipline becomes joyful effort. Instead of forcing yourself, you move with intention. You set goals that honor your true needs. This is a major transformation. The crisis is a bridge from confusion to clarity, from despair to hope, from feeling lost to finding your path. During this process, be patient. Growth takes time. There will be setbacks. Old habits and doubts may resurface, but each challenge is an invitation to deepen your self-awareness. Seek support when needed. Talk to trusted friends, mentors, or therapists. You are not alone on this journey. Many have walked this path before you and emerged stronger and wiser. Remember that your value is not measured by productivity or success. It is inherent. You are worthy simply by being. The spiritual crisis is an opportunity to reconnect with that truth, to build a life that reflects your soul's purpose, to live with passion and authenticity. When you embrace this process, you move from feeling stuck to feeling free. You move from confusion to purpose. This is the essence of true motivation. It comes not from external pressure, but from inner alignment. So if you feel lost or unmotivated, do not despair. You are not lazy. You are in the midst of a profound spiritual awakening. Trust the process. Listen to your inner voice. Take small steps each day toward what feels meaningful. Celebrate your progress no matter how small. This journey is your gift, your path to wholeness and fulfillment.